Michigan Geography. Hey Soojin, how's it going?
Just fine, thank you. How are you? Have you thought about the trip to Midwest that I mentioned? Honestly, I doubt if that's a good idea.
Well, the Midwest is not a super exciting place to travel, though there are some interesting things to see and do here.
Oh, really? Where would you recommend that I visit? Then I can change my plans.
Well, you could start with where we are right now. A lot of people like to go fishing and boating on the Grand River, and there's a nice walk that follows the river from MSU campus to the original Lansing downtown.
Right, but I've been to downtown several times, and I'd like to go somewhere new. This trip means a lot to me. I need to be refreshed.
Well, outside of Lansing there's a lot to see and do. In the south of Michigan is Detroit. Detroit has museums and other cultural centers, as well as a beautiful park on the Detroit River.
Oh, I would probably like the city, but I hope to go a quiet place to escape from my busy life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, not so far away as Detroit, but still to the south of Lansing are the Grand Ledges. The Grand Ledges are a series of cliffs along a river where you can hike and have a picnic. They're not very big, but they're still quite nice. River.
River.
South.
South.
Detroit.
Detroit.
Cliffs.
Cliffs. Okay, that sounds fun. But I'm afraid that I'm not a very active girl. What I want is to spend several days working, reading, and sightseeing in a quiet place. That could sound boring, but I desperately need to take a break. Anyway, you have been talking about the south of Michigan. How about the east of Michigan?
Well, if you want to go east, you're going to run into the Canadian border pretty fast.
Is Niagara Falls around there?
Niagara Falls is even further east than the border of Michigan and Canada. To get there, you have to go to the border between Canada and New York State. East.
East.
Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls.
New York State.
New York State. I see. Niagara Falls farther than I thought. Are there any waterfalls in Michigan?
There are some pretty big waterfalls in Michigan, but they are all to the north in the Upper Peninsula. The best waterfalls I've seen are in the Pictured Rock State Park. There are 7 different waterfalls that fall into Lake Superior.
I'm glad to hear there's nice waterfalls up there. The UP must be worth a visit. What else in the UP?
Well, also in the UP are the Porcupine Mountains. The Porcupine Mountains are the only real mountains in Michigan.
The only mountains in Michigan?
Yeah, well, Michigan is pretty flat for the most part. Some parts are barely above sea level.
So if you want mountains, the Porcupine Ridge is the place to go for backpacking and camping, right?
Exactly right. North.
North.
Upper Peninsula.
Upper Peninsula.
Lake Superior.
Lake Superior.
Mountains.
Mountains. Now you are telling me what I need to hear. What else is there to see?
Well, then just south of the Upper Peninsula, but still north of the Lower Peninsula, is Mackinac Island.
Oh, the famous Mackinac Island. I've heard about that island a lot. Where exactly is it located?
Mackinac Island is stuck right between the Upper and Lower Peninsula, near the Mackinac Bridge.
I see. Why is it so famous? Many of my Korean friends tell me it is a must-see sort of place.
Well, Mackinac Island is what we call a tourist trap. There are shops and candy stores where you can buy every type of fudge you can imagine. As well, there's biking and an old fort that you can tour.
Sounds yummy.
Well, the fudge is great, however you have to be ready to hold on to your wallet. A tourist trip is a place where many people want to go and visit, so it's built to satisfy everyone's demands. Normally, things are super expensive for this reason, much more expensive than they should be. Mackinac Island.
Mackinac Island.
Tourist trap.
Tourist trap. That's true. What about the West?
Well, in the west of Michigan, there are a lot of really cool places to see, actually. In northwest Michigan, there's Traverse City. Traverse City is famous for producing the bulk of Michigan's sweet cherries. The cherry trees do well in that area thanks to the cool weather off of the bay.
I love Michigan cherries. When I first tried a black cherry, It tasted like heaven. It was perfectly balanced, sweet and sour. Can you tell me about more fruit areas in Michigan? I really want to hear more about these areas.
Well, Michigan actually grows a lot of fruit along the shore of Lake Michigan, including grapes, apples, blueberries, and strawberries.
Wow, you are making me love Michigan.
That's because Michigan is actually pretty sweet. West,
West,
Northwest,
Northwest,
Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan. Yeah, indeed. I should nickname Michigan Sweet Michigan. I haven't noticed that Michigan has such a nice trip destinations. Is there anything more you want to introduce about your home state?
Well, there are also the Sleeping Bear Dunes.
Sleeping Bear? The name is so cute. Can I see bears sleeping on dunes there? Please tell me yes.
There are unfortunately no bears on the dunes. The name actually comes from a Native American legend.
How does sleeping bear look like? Does it have a shape of bears?
It sort of does, if you can imagine a bear curled up and sleeping in a ball.
Now I can better plan my trips thanks to you. Maybe I should go to northern Michigan to visit Mackinac Island, and then I should go down along the western area to pick up some fresh fruit. That would be an amazing trip. Thank you for all the information you've given me. You are such a nice person, Chad.
Dunes.
Dunes.
Well, I'm glad to be of some help. If you ever have any other questions about places to go, feel free to ask. I haven't been a lot of places, but there are a few others that I know.
That sounds great. I'll keep it in mind.